How to calculate the WIP limit of your Kanban board. Basically, it consists of 5 different steps. First one is you have to map your value stream. The second one is you have to know what is value add versus non-value add item on your board. Third one is how to calculate the efficiency of your board. Fourth is the WIP limit of your complete board. And fifth thing is the WIP limit of each column of your board. So we are going to cover each one in detail in upcoming slides. Okay, so the very first is map your value stream. Now this value stream is nothing but, if you see over here, these are nothing but the different columns. Again, it will varies from project to project. So for example, in my project, I have something which is ready for development, in development, or in testing, or ready to deploy. This is just an example. Sometimes it can be just development, testing, deployment, and done. So again, that's the reason it's depend on individual team to team how you are going to map your value stream. So this is about value stream mapping. Nothing simple, the columns, what you exactly require in your project. That is value stream mapping. This is one more example you can see. So over here, they kept it very simple. Design, requirement, coding, testing, and deploy. That's it. Now below this you can see something which is VA and NVA. So this is we are going to discuss like what is this VA and what is this value meant in upcoming slides. Okay, so now this is a value add and non-value added item. So what is a value add and non-value add? Let's see an example. So when we say a value add is actual development basically. When you actually adding some value to the work which you are doing. So when example you are doing development, you are actually putting some value, you are adding some value. In peer review, yes, you are adding value because you are based on your review comments. Again, that guy again has to redo his work, his coding, right? In testing, you will find a lot of bug and issues that will enhance the quality of your code, right? Development work. And then you have to put it into deployment. Ultimately, then the reason it will go into the hand of the clients or the end customer, right? So all these things are considered as a value add. Now, what is non-value add? When we say something is ready for development, ready to review, or ready to deploy, it means that waiting is there. So no extra value is added in those timeline. So when we just see it in this particular slide again, so let's say someone is spending 2 hours in design. So that's a value add. Non-value add, let's say this guy has sent this design document for sign off to client or anyone, and it took around zero point 0.5 of hours or days, or it can be anything. So let's say, but then this is not adding value to these people, right? But then again, you can see the requirement. It's take 2 hours or 2 days, for example. And after that, again, there is a 1 hour or 1 day of non-value add item, right? So maybe after requirement, again, they have sent it to development team, or they have sent it to a backlog, but then again, they will only start their sprint maybe after 1 day or 1 week. So all these things which you are see here at the below, right? All these are non-value addition, okay? And these are value one, okay? So these are the value added items, and these are the non-value added items. Okay, the third one is efficiency of your board. So the average time a ticket is spent in a value add column, the average time a ticket is spent in a non-value add column. So for example, 3 day in development, 0.5 day. So we'll see how we can calculate the efficiency of the board. Okay, so now this is a little bit tricky, and let's see how these people have calculated this. So value add time. Again, I have to take you back how this 16 is coming. If you go over here, if we calculate this 2 plus 2 plus 7 plus 4 plus 1. If you combine this, it will come as 16. Okay, and you have to add this as well, non-value add. So 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 9.5. So this is 9.5 is a non-value add, and value added is 16. So that's the reason they mention over here 16 days as a value add time. NVA, non-value add time, is 9.5 days. Okay. Now what else they are doing? This is an efficiency factor. So what they have done, 16, 16 value add plus non-value add. 16 plus 9.5 is roughly 20.5. So if you divide 16 by this, you will get 2.7. That is roughly equal to 63. So that's the reason the efficiency is 63 over here. Yeah, I suggest you to go back and just again calculate that. It will come something like similar only. It will be efficiency is 60 for your board. Yeah. Okay, now see what is a WIP limit. Now this WIP limit is total WIP limit of your complete board. So what we are doing now, we assuming the number of team members are 5. So now you may have 6 team members, 7 team member, whatever the number of team member, you need to take those number and then divide it by the efficiency. So just now we know that efficiency is 63. So if we divide 5 by 63, it will roughly come to 8. So basically 8 is your overall WIP limit of your board. So at a given point of time, only 8 items should be present on your board if you have a team member of 5. So that is how we know. Now we have an idea that, okay, for my board, 8 is the maximum I should have. So WIP for my complete board. Now this is for complete board. Now we'll look into the each and individual columns wise. Okay, so this is little bit interesting and as well as little bit complicated if you are seeing it first time, but it's pretty easy and I'll help you that how all these numbers are coming over here. Okay, so now we already know that total WIP is 8 from our previous slide. Yeah, this is the total 8 items that can be there on my board. So 8 is my total WIP. And we know that value add time is 16 days. Okay. And if you remember this 2, 7 and 4 and 1, these are the value time which we added in the beginning, right? And that's the reason the sum will come at this 16. Yeah. So what we are doing, we are just simply dividing 2 by 16. That's it, nothing else. So value add for, let's say, design was 2 and the total value add time was 16. So we are just dividing 2 by 16. So it's coming around 0.2125, which is nothing but the 12.5. Similarly, we will are doing it for everyone. So if you have 7 coding value add time divided by 16, the total value add time, it will come around 0.435. And that's the reason they mentioned over here 43.75. It will be like 4375 only, I think, somewhere. That's the reason they mentioned 14.3. So this is how individual percentage of total value add is now coming out. So if you just divide all this 4 by 16, it will be roughly around 0.25. So that's the reason it's 25 over here. So this is how percentage of total value will come over here. So I hope this is clear by now. Let's see how this WIP limit is coming for individual columns, individual swim lanes, right? So now we know that this is 0.25 for this, right? Now total WIP is 8 for the complete board. Again, we are doing nothing, but we are just simply multiplying this total value add item with the total WIP limit. So it's coming as 1. You can see if you divide this 0.25 with the total WIP items, that will be 1. If you take this, for example, this one 4375. So if you divide this 0.4375 multiplied by 8, it will roughly around 3.5. So they have taken it as a 3 over here because 3.5 is fraction. So just they have taken the below 1. Again, you can have a challenge in this kind of scenarios where we have less or more. So some might have asked like why it's not 4, why it's 3, right? So we'll see that also. Again, 0.25 multiplied by 8 equal to 2. So this is how we have calculated the individual WIP limits of individual columns over here. So what we have seen, the WIP limit of complete board and WIP limit of individual columns. Okay. Okay. Next important thing is on lead time or a process time or a cycle time. Again, this is important metric from a perspective of Kanban, and that's the only one. If you understand, then you will understand the Kanban as a whole. So what we are seeing over here, so we have received the work. Okay, what will happen after that work? Okay, might be your product manager or your PO have spent a lot of time in discussing with the stakeholder. They are doing a lot of stuff over there, but that's again will consider as a work is idle. Our actual work will start when you will start touching the actual code. So when something will come in your queue, so when something will come in your Kanban board, and when you pull it from to do to in progress, there where your process time is start, or cycle time is start. And always try to move your ready item to the done item as soon as possible. So basically they are just going to calculate how much total cycle time you are taking versus the lead time. When we say lead time, it's the time when that particular item or product or service is into the hand of end user, the client for you, right? You might have seen in our previous example where our code is ready, but then it's not put it into a, it's not deployed into the production, right? For whatever reason. Sometimes we have a window of 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Sometimes we have a fixed calendar releases, right? So we will wait for that particular piece of code which is still very much deployable, but then we waited for 2 weeks. That is the work is idle. I mean, no one is doing anything for that, right? So how we can reduce this lead time? That's how all businesses work toward that. How to reduce this process time, how to reduce this lead time. That should be the ultimate goal. And this is what we normally take from the lead time and the process time. There are other various names for them. Sometimes people call it as a lapse time, throughput time, turnaround time. Sometimes we know them as a touch time, work time, and a cycle time. So friends, I hope you are clear with WIP limit and lead and let time. Please let me know if you have any queries. Give me a shout out. Put me in a comment. I will help you out. Thanks. Have a nice day.